What's up, everybody? This is Notes of a Goon. We are back again. I am your host, Chris Vega, joined as always by my stalwart producer, Michael Harrington. How are you, Mike?
Stalwart as ever, Chris.
Yeah, and we have some guests in the building today. Why don't you introduce our guests?
Dude, we have. All right, so I'm gonna start to my left. I talked to 6 people I interviewed for the Armored Fight League. The Armored League's event coming up here in New Rome City tomorrow. Of the people that I talked to,
as this show comes out on Friday,
yeah,
there's still time to get tickets. So why don't you tell people where to get tickets?
Tonight, go to thearmoredleague.com. You can also check my Instagram story. I've had the ticket link up there every day for the last week. Just click get tickets, $25. It's ideal glass studio, great view, any place in the house. It's gonna be a great time. I'm gonna be on commentary. Roger here is gonna be refereeing, but Johny Porter, as I was saying, of the people that I spoke to, of the fighters that I spoke to, all but one of them said this was the guy they are thinking they're either going to see in the finals or will be their toughest fight. Probably the best, certainly the best as far as I know, in armored combat 1v1s in America right now. Johny Porter. Sir, how are you?
Oh, dude, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Dude, I'm so
Chris.
excited. And then, I was saving the best for last because this is like lore to the show. We've gotten multiple episodes out of it about our relationship with Roger.
Former enemy of the show, now friend of the show.
Former enemy of the show turned stalwart friend of the show, Roger. Roger's going to be refereeing the event this Friday. So you are going to be seeing more of his face than any of the fighters, that's for sure.
I don't know if you want to advertise it that way if we're putting the video this out.
You want to keep
I like Roger just fine, but I don't know if I need to look at him necessarily.
Yeah, thanks for doing
We
that.
turn the lights off when we kiss.
We appreciate it. We need someone in there.
Dude, I'm so excited too. I'm so excited to have these guys in. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Typically, old business is how we start the show, and there's no better old business than finding out why you hated us so much when you first met us, Roger.
Yeah, you were furious that Brandon paid us money to come make stupid jokes and get drunk at your event.
And where did
you were so angry?
Where did the switch flip where you're like, these guys are all right?
Oh, probably about 5 minutes into the show.
Yeah?
Yeah. When I figured out you guys knew absolutely nothing and were just stupid. Then the comedy started in the banter, and it was really, really...
All right, good.
That's funny for you to be like, 5 minutes in, I knew you guys knew absolutely nothing. So I had you judging the final fights of the night.
Yeah,
absolutely,
dude. That was some of the most fun I've ever had. Trying to figure out the scoring live in real time. John, I was going to ask you, when you watch videos back, because they don't do the live points on the screen.
No, they don't. I actually haven't seen very much footage from the last league event that you guys put on that you were judging. So. No, typically you don't get as much knowledge until it's over. Okay. It's like you get to just fight, and then at some point the judges will come in and say, this is who we think won. And you just should know the rules well enough to be able to interpret the answer. That's.
So my question is, when you're watching footage, you watch two guys go at it. If you don't know the results, it hasn't been spoiled for you. Would you say 70, 80, 90% accurate, being like, I know who the judges are going to give this to?
Oh, man, that's a tough answer because I would say I'm pretty well versed. I know the rule sets and I know the criteria that the judges are looking for, but a lot of the time you can't get into the mind of a judge. So I have a high percentage, I don't want to say 90%, but okay. I'm pretty good about it. Occasionally I'll watch a fight and maybe my bias, gives some more weight to a certain thing that one of the fighters did, and so a judge doesn't see it the same way I do. That's something you always go into. And in our sport, it's kind of complicated. It's like early UFC or MMA days where you have a different rule set, depending on where you're fighting. So you could have a slightly different judging criteria week to week.
Well, I mean, you guys also have completely different events that are scored differently.
Yeah, exactly. So you have kind of the base sport, but then how people are scoring it, what even can be allowed, what techniques you're allowed to do, what is a legal strike. It might change, and so you kind of got to just stay on top of it, or have a mindset where I'm just going to always do something that I know is
And this
safe.
it's not an athletic commission situation. It's just basically the promoter decides the rules of the events in some instances.
At the biggest level, you have major international orgs, the two biggest ones being Boher International and IMCF. And what they do is they have pretty open conferences between like the biggest national groups, and they get the club leaders together, and you get voted in, by your representative basically, and they have a rule change every few months. Maybe they'll adapt something or change it.
Okay.
But they try not to do it every single event because then you just lose track. But the problem is not all of these event organizers or promoters talk to each other and agree on what those events
so there's not like a basic thing where it goes out to everybody.
No, there's not that commission ruling body. There's just the biggest organizations, and then the smaller ones kind of follow suit doing what they do
over time.
Yeah, just
because
eventually.
Because if they want to get somebody like you to come by, you're like, I'm doing it the way I have to do it for the one that pays.
Yeah, I would prefer if you do a proper rule set or have
you.
accredited marshals, because that's a big thing, right? You put your hands in some sense, your life and your body into some random referee or some official that's going to make sure that
some
other
random
people.
Referee.
I know, right? Make sure nobody's cheating out there, okay?
I don't worry about that.
No, it matters.
Roger looks like he wears a falconer's glove as a condom.
If I see a falcon out there, I'm running, dude.
Man, me too.
Bro, could you imagine?
More like a light switch.
Dude, if that was my loadout, just a sword and then a falcon on one hand.
Dude, that'd be pretty sweet.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
Dude,
the
falcon
next
points are
evolution.
extra points.
I don't think anybody would be able to beat me at that point, Not undefeatable.
Dude, unbeaten with a falcon. It's like Finn Balor when he puts on the demon makeup.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when the American Badass Undertaker came back as the dead man. You're like, oh, he's winning now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the buff, the aura would just go up so high.
And my falcon friend. Roger, so I was talking to Sam Wride the other day, and he was saying it is illegal to take a shot at someone at the back of the kneecaps, but it's not illegal to take a shot if someone intentionally has gapping, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So what is the worst thing you've seen as far as somebody exploiting the gapping?
Broken clavicles.
Oh.
I've seen separated muscle.
I've seen that before. I've seen a guy get one of his the muscles in his form. I guess it would be his radialis. Maybe is this muscle here?
Okay.
Get severed before, but
inside the skin.
His muscle. He had to go get it surgically repaired.
And that's the typical injuries are those injuries, right?
No,
you're not getting a lot of concussions.
That's
in these
atypical.
things.
I got to say this for sure. Armor works way better than you'd think just watching the sport.
Okay.
It's one of the weird sides of it. It's a combat sport. It's a lot of danger. But it's a very safe one, even compared to just MMA. It might sound ironic, but you're not taking an elbow or a knee to the face. You're not losing your teeth. You're getting very little surface damage. You can take a horrible bad shot and get some CTE for sure, or you can get gapped. But that's
But it's rare.
in a way, that's an armor failure. Super serious injuries are much rarer now. The sport is much better about it.
Okay.
And the serious, I'm gonna say the most serious injuries usually are American football, sort of someone fell wrong or someone got blasted badly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's big dudes wearing heavy equipment, and maybe one guy hasn't worked out in a long time, his knee's a little unsteady. Those are kind of the worst injuries that you'll see. Or just, accumulated damage. That's the worst thing I ever had was my C-spine, I had 3 discs get bulged out.
Oh.
But that was from, I wrestled in college, high school, and then other sports, and then this, and then took a really bad illegal shot to the neck. That made it just so much worse.
Oh, really? What made it an illegal shot?
So you are not allowed to strike the neck directly.
Okay.
You used to be able to hit the sides, but now they've made you can't hit the neck directly, and you've always been, it's an illegal shot to hit the back of the spine here, the C-spine, or the bottom of the head. They have it's like a hand's breadth rule from the base of your neck up. So you got kind of similar to MMA, this little zone here below the ears, that's an illegal zone to hit, even on a helmet. So that was I got shot. It was right between padding and plates, hit right on the neck when I was wrestling with someone else. And it was a totally illegal shot. The guy got a red card for it, but it was my body at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What does a red card mean? Your automatic ejection?
Yeah, in a tournament, if you get a red card, basically you can no longer fight, and then your team has to fight down one player the entire
for
rest
the
of the
rest.
event. Yep.
Ooh, okay. So you
Yep.
can't sub a guy in.
Exactly.
For him. It's
no.
just a dead spot.
So if it was 5, if it was 5-on-5, now you're down to 4. That was in a 30-on-30 fight.
Okay, it matters a little less.
We were already down to 28 guys by that match too. We had all USA back in the day, team Team USA in Serbia. This was 2019, I think. Yeah, we were fighting in his 30s. We started the day with 30 fighters. By the time we got through our pools and our brackets, we barely made it out of the pools. We're down to only 28 guys. So it's like, hey, nobody can take a break anymore. Get out here.
Well, in Serbia, anything could have happened to them, right?
Dude, it was a good
They're just
event.
picking guys off one by one
Yeah.
and putting them in these movies where they have to, fuck a newborn baby.
Yeah, it's true, man. I didn't walk around too much alone, but
Yeah.
one time when I did, I got kind of lost. And I was like, man, I don't feel super comfortable right now. No, it was real safe. It was a chill village.
There's no way. There's
it
no
was.
place in Serbia that is safe.
Dude, no. So the first time I went there, we're there for the World Championships, Battle of the Nations, that used to be hosted by a different.
By the way,
league.
the reason why the World Championships are held in Serbia is because they haven't moved past fiefdom as a form of government.
It's true, man. We were servitors back there. It was some feudal shit for sure. We even fought in a castle,
Really?
Yeah.
Yo.
Smederovo Castle. Shout out to this fisherman Marcus that let us stay in his house for the Airbnb. But yeah, there was just this random little tiny town, and it's like
And they had a castle.
a castle. The guy who owns the castle is a private citizen, and he's like literally like the lord of that town in a way.
You never saw him during the day.
Yeah, once, but sun was going down. Now that I think about it, dude. But no, it's like crazy shit can happen at events. That's all. But
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
That is that's so you were saying when we were talking, like, there is a little bit of animosity and like ill will towards the Americans when they go overseas. If you get
there was for sure.
if you catch a foul like that, are you immediately going to like, all right, we gotta retaliate, like
no,
we gotta
never,
no?
100% no, because that's the mindset that got people into kind of beefs in the first place. Part of the story that. We were talking about how there was an issue with Belarus and the USA at one point, and I will say that for the most part it's been kind of squashed. Like I remember being at an event with a friend. We all were partying together with Belarus fighters. It was after the this incident, but certain people, certain countries, certain cultures have like if you're not winning by every single means necessary, you're not trying hard enough. And so it's kind of like the same mindset where people will flop a foul in soccer or basketball or try to skirt and kind of push the edge of the rules. And I got to say that as a community and culturally, the USA, we are never that team. We are not representing that as a nation, and as like my clubs that would go representing the U.S. No, we never thought that way. The reason people didn't like us was because we had a guy get red carded legitimately. He got stomped while he was on the ground, so he was already out of the fight, and a guy stomped on his head.
Whoa.
And then we had to fight for like 30 plus minutes to get video footage and get a red card eventually. The next round, we were fighting Team Belarus, by the way.
Wait a second. Hold on. How do you need 30 minutes to be like, hey, everybody like a head stomp is a head stomp?
Oh my God! Because everyone that was running the event
There's
was
60
speaking.
guys in a ring.
No,
also.
this was in a 5-on-5. The problem was
what?
the infrastructure was all Russian speakers, and we're Team USA trying to get involved with this. And there's like 8 dudes all deliberating in Russian, and our team captain's like, "Hey, can you guys speak in English so that I know what the hell is being talked about right now?" And then eventually, when we finally we had to get the concrete evidence of the footage on a replay, which is why it was so freaking annoying. And then
you're like, guys, can you turn down the techno
Dude.
while you're deliberating? Stop.
It
Why are
was
you all on
insane.
GHB? This
it was
is
insane.
crazy.
It was like guys like clearly trying to go like, hey, what are we gonna do to make this go away? And we're watching it like, none of us know what you're saying, but we know what the fuck you're saying.
You full on Seth Rollins curb stop.
We saw it all. The guy had to go get surgery later for his neck, and so the next play, once it all gets like shuffled about, and finally the guy got a red card. One of their fighters goes out, gets hit in the head, and flops, and just like does like a weird little like spasm thing. And I saw him later walking around perfectly fine.
Like when Tank Abbott knocked that guy out in UFC 3?
Dude, we got a red card immediately. 10 seconds into
You
it,
guys got red carded
yeah,
because he took a dive?
So it was literally like
what a cunt.
So but for years the international community thought that we also took a dive. So they thought that because they were like, yeah, of course he took a dive. We know it. I've had many people come up to me and tell me this. They're like, yeah, that Belarus guy, I know him. He was totally fine. But then I'm like, yeah, well, our guy wasn't. He had to go get surgery on his. They're like, oh, I didn't realize.
Plus, those Belarusians have heavier necks. Have you seen that hat Lomachenko wears just regularly?
It's true, dude. It's true. They're sturdy in many places.
Yeah, exactly.
So Johnny,
he does look like a Funko Pop Joseph Stalin. doesn't he?
Oh, dude, like a mini version of him.
Yeah.
He's about a lot quicker.
He's just shorter with a bigger head.
bum, 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 bum.
Throws hands better, probably too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine.
All right, so Johnny, I wanted to, while we have you here, and while I have somebody on the ones and twos ready to pull some video up from some of these guys, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your competition going down this week. So I was gonna say I got an email from the promoter. It had the scoring criteria. You've received that too, right?
Yeah.
So you know what everything is. Is it subjective at all when they're like a significant strike or a impactful strike? Is that the wording that they're using?
Yeah, in my opinion, it is subjective. There's ways you can measure it, and so when I went to get certified as an MMA official, ref and judge, shout out Herb Dean for teaching that class.
Wow, we can do that?
I don't
Herb
know.
Dean just teaches a class?
Yeah, you can go get certified if you want.
What?
He does it like a few times a year. You can look his website up or find
And
his
you can
social
do it
media.
online?
No, it's not online. You got to go to Pasadena, and it's a weekend course.
Okay.
And then you can get certified as either both a judge and referee or one or the other.
Harrington, I'll pay for you to do that if you get your notary license.
God damn it! I was gonna ask if I could become an MMA judge instead of becoming a notary.
Dude,
I've been trying to
honestly,
get him to become a notary for years because I could use a corrupt notary in my back pocket. You never know when you need something forged.
Hey, I'm a licensed minister, so I think I can
Oh
be
yeah,
an
I'm ordained as well.
Oh, okay, I think we
Hey,
can notarize
is
stuff.
there anybody in the room that's not ordained?
Damn it!
Oh, look, there you go. Yeah, they pulled it up for you. You're good. You're good. See, right
Yo,
there.
$3,000 if I get it's. You're that committed to it. If I get my notary,
I'm gonna hit up Herb Dean and see if I can get both of us in for the price of one, and yeah, we'll both go do it.
I'd never used this power before, but I have his number in my phone. Maybe if you want.
Really?
yeah.
Like yeah.
I'll text Dan Severn and have him text him
Yeah.
too. Be like, come on, Dan, come on, help me out.
Hit it from two ways. Well, but basically what that kind of leads back to is one way to think of effective striking is what is the effect it had on the person. And in our sport, you don't wear damage as much, so it's not like you'll see a black eye. So you got to look like does
You
the
definitely don't see
person-
any black guys in armored combat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're
Hey,
covered in armor.
I just fought
What?
with
It wasn't because the sport's not inclusive.
Dude, Knights of
about the Black
Wakanda.
Knight?
I just fought with Knights of Wakanda,
Yeah.
man. Get out of here, dude. What are you talking about?
This guy's got vibranium armor. That's not fair. He's shooting energy beams at me.
That's cheating, man. You pop out the claws, dude. They're not ready for it. Okay. They're like, that's not authentic, you know.
Dude, Canadian team get a bunch of Wolverines versus
yeah, right?
Black Panthers. That's fun. Now that's boo hurt.
Yeah, the North Blood. The Canadians are sick, dude. They're cool. There.
Let's go.
In armor, though, you just got to look at someone's effect on their body. Like, if
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
hit
say-
someone, do they move? Right? Do they go to block that? Do they adjust their stance? Did it rattle them? Did it stop their movement? That
That's what
kinda
I was
stuff.
thinking. Like if a guy is slowed down,
Yeah.
if ever a guy's like hit and it's like, okay, he's no longer charging forward, or he's not countering effectively anymore. It's like, okay, no, that fucked him up. That rung
Yeah.
his bell for a second.
Like you see a dude get hit in the body and he goes like, leans over for, you know what I mean? It's like you can tell that affected him. You get a guy hit in the leg with a kick or a sword shot and he, kind of adjusts his stance, pulls that leg back for a second. It's like, okay, you can tell whether or not it necessarily was the most effective strike of the round. It's like it did something, right?
Right.
And then watching how people react, it'll tell you a lot too. A guy gets hit with like super hard punch for the rest of the time he's sitting there flinching, you know what I mean, waiting to eat the next one.
So
It's
just like a standard fight.
yeah,
Like, just like an
very
MMA fight or anything
exactly.
like that.
You just won't see the physical damage as much until
Okay.
they take the armor off. And then, you'll see bruises and stuff. You'll see some cuts every now and then. But
And you're saying, you were telling me before we got on the air, people are kind of stripping down their armor kits just to have a little bit more mobility.
yeah, for one-on-one fights especially, because it's like, you're not going to take as hard of a shot to certain areas when you're not wrestling like another dude already. You're not going to take as much damage to like the backside. Like my armor kit's pretty modified for melee and one-on-one, but you'll see one thing is like I have no protection on the back of my legs.
Okay.
Because I pretty much never get hit there, especially one-on-one. It's like I'm gonna be facing you this entire time. If you like got those angles, then I fucked up bad.
I gotcha.
But yeah, some people they have much less than what I wear. They'll pare it down even to like smaller plates because it's like over time you learn where you're gonna get hit. So you kind of
And you know what your
your
kind of thing
style
is. It's
leans
like,
to.
yeah, it's almost like a combination of doing something like you're almost like kind of combining some of the finer points of like drag racing with
No, it's
fighting.
true. Yeah, because you're getting like at the highest level for like grams. You know what I mean, off the armor, just like shaving as much weight as you can. I'm the kind of guy where like I have to have one suit because I can't afford to have like an optimized melee and an optimized dueling suit. Some people they do, and the difference is enormous. Like my full kit, weapons and everything, close to 75 pounds. If you have an optimized dueling kit, you could get that down to probably 30, 45 easily. Yeah, like pretty freaking.
My sword and shield and sword and buckler dueling kit is under 40.
Yeah.
34 and a half with a heater, shield, and arming sword.
And that's a bigger guy too wearing that, you know. Right. So yeah, you could.
You gonna take that, Roger?
I can take a lot.
Really, you're gonna call a guy fat who's reffing your fights?
What are you
tomorrow?
talking about? I said bigger. Okay, you don't need to be all body
I
composition.
heard bigger. He tried to throw fatter.
Yeah.
Look,
you should probably go fight
here.
Vega now.
You're just lucky. You're just lucky they didn't set up my soundboard in there.
I mean, I'm old and fat. You know.
Someone's getting air horned here now.
Yeah, we don't get any soundboard and shenanigans, dude. We can't be playing those games.
Yeah, it's fair.
It's amazing what you go.
People are trying to enjoy a beer behind us.
Yeah.
I mean, my jack straps on my dueling.
By the way,
maybe an inch wide, so I have an inch coming down here.
Really?
I also enjoy a jack strap from time to time.
Yeah, bigger than an inch for you probably though.
Yeah,
He's young.
on a good day. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your competition, Emil Goose. This is maybe one of the most anticipated possible matchups of this whole tournament. You know, I think when people are really, you know, looking up and down the roster, like you and him are two names that instantly pop out to you. You guys had, I watched it, an instant classic. What was that, about a year ago?
June, so like not even.
Yeah, a little less than a year. Okay, like 9 months ago or so. Have you? Is this your first? Is this your first rematch?
Yeah. Well, let me think. Actually, this might be, and I had never thought about that. This might be my first rematch. Yeah, in pro fights, I've had rematches in duels before, but yeah, that's crazy. I hadn't thought about that, Mike.
So this is why I'm the lead commentator for this thing. I'm constantly thinking about this event coming up. What do you think
Which
about?
is crazy because he doesn't think about his daughter very much.
Who?
At all. Yeah, exactly.
Bro, it's fine dining and fine dining and breathing, dude. That's it. It's all armored combat this week. So what is what like, as far as somebody now who's already experienced, like what sets you apart from pretty much everybody else in the sport, for people who don't know, and if you guys want to pull up some Johny Porter highlights, I would love to watch them. You put a tremendous pace on people, right? Like you put crazy pressure on guys. You're always looking for the wrestling. You're always looking for takedowns, scoring points once guys are down, not letting up, not you're not trying to get right to the striking. You're trying to get inside and really press someone. What do you think about, a situation like this where it's only 1 minute rounds? And Emil has been in with her. He's been in there with you before. He knows what that pressure feels like. Like, do you think this is going to be a different fight, for those reasons?
I do think it's going to be different because of the experience that he and I have had before. I can tell, and he's been working a lot on his wrestling, his grappling. I've seen it in his last couple of fights, his last few matches since ours, that he's been adjusting. He's been making some improvements, and I think whether or not it's the exact same fight that we have as last time, I mean, the big thing here is we're not going to have a cage, right? And I love having a cage because I can press people against it, but I also enjoy having an open space because when you're out in the open, essentially there is no place for someone to retreat to, right? The entirety of the field is even play. It's like you step outside, you get a little bit of a reset for your feet, but that's it. I'm not clear yet if they're going to start people in dominant positions if they go out of bounds or if it's just completely reset to neutral. Roger, do you know that perhaps?
That was on my list of questions for them tomorrow.
I'll find out tomorrow. This is what I mean. Like, I'm just going to go in and fight.
So is it typical to award points and a dominant position? I know in MMA it's one or the other.
It's like, no. You want to basically...
Because I know they're giving points for ring out.
They're giving points, and that's why I don't think they're gonna. I think they said they're gonna set it neutral. You know, because normally it's one or the other. Normally you give them their position, or you give them like a certain amount of points for the takedown and reset it. Sometimes though, it's not clear. I've been in a group before with a group in LA where they're getting better, but they had a mix up in their rules at one point, and they didn't know what their own rules were, and I knew it better than them. But in the moment, I hate arguing with referees in the moment, so I'm just like, whatever. But then later, I'm like, those sons of a
No, you gotta do. I think you actually legitimately have to do that, though. Like
I'm bad about it. That's all, Chris. Yeah.
Oh no, because then the next day you're like, fuck, there was like more money in this for me.
Literally, I
could
have done better. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it gets to me. I'm like not naturally a creature of conflict.
Gotcha.
In like those sorts of ways.
You've chosen a weird career path.
That's true. That's like my only yellow card I have in this sport is from yelling at an official, actually, too.
Really?
So, yeah.
What were you? What happened?
All right, they were trying to give my teammate an erroneous card because they said he'd hit someone that was already on the ground, but he didn't. He hit them while they were going down, and I saw the whole thing, and ended up being so dumb because we're at like a world championship too, and I was like just yelling like, "You're trying to give him," and they had actually already worked it out. But I didn't realize. So
yeah, because you got a helmet on, you can't hear anything.
This lady turns to me and she's like, "If you don't stop talking to me, you're gonna get a yellow card." And I was like,
"What?"
I'm like, "I don't care. What are you talking about?" And then she's just like,
"Yeah, you stunned her."
Boom, dude, flash, swing. No, never.
And now that woman is the Secretary of Education.
What does a yellow card entail? That's just essentially another one of these, the red card.
It's a warning to you and the team for whatever action occurred. 2 of them or more will get you a red card.
Okay.
And they'll go on your permanent fighter record too, which is
your permanent record.
Know,
You're never gonna get into a good high school now.
I know. It ruined my Ivy League school chances. No, dude, it's so funny because it's not like a big deal, but it matters so much to me that one time these people, they did try to give me a red card, which I disagreed with, and it's the one time I did get all into it, Chris. I was like arguing with everyone, and I eventually got it overturned.
Really?
Because it's
hell
like,
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. As dumb as it is, it's like I don't want it on my permanent record.
Like, I don't want people thinking I'm a dirty fighter.
I'm a clean fighter. Sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now the only people that know that this happened is all the people that overheard me yelling at these referees.
Roger, you're somebody who books a lot of these. Like, if you see a guy has a bunch of red cards on like his thing, is that a like red flag for you when it comes to booking somebody?
Yes. I'm not going to bring somebody in like that.
Yeah, it should be.
My events, we are 100% drama free. We don't do politics. We don't do any of the stupid stuff. We're just there to fight and have a good time. So yeah, you come in with red cards, particularly for arguing with the ref on Sportsman. You're not even getting.
I don't want to deal with this, dude. This is me. You would be arguing with.
Roger's got to deal with us fucking making fun of him as he's walking around in a leather kilt, and then now he's like, "Oh, now this guy's arguing with me about points."
So when you get red carded and these guys are around,
oh, they'll know.
Blame them.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Yeah, dude, that's it. It's us. We've been getting on Roger's nerves since 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Sorry, homie. That's on your permanent record, not mine.
You're priming him for me. Dang. Thanks, you guys.
I'm on my 17th beer, being like, "How come you're not fighting anymore?"
There's nobody left.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were there till 11:30. It was
the
dark.
first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that just made way for the fire dancing, which was pretty lit. You got to admit, nighttime armored combat is sick because then you can do all kinds of flow tools at night, which is really fun to watch.
That's true.
We'll be back this year.
Sick. I'm very excited for that. What I was going to ask you, with no ring, right? Like you would assume there's going to be quite a few of those push-outs, right? Like that seems to be, especially if you're somebody with Johnny style, like what do you as the referee look to do to be like, guys, this is still an entertainment product. You can't just be going off the whole time. Like, is there any way to like corral that and be like, no, you guys got to kind of stand your ground and beat each other up?
That's a real fine line.
Okay.
Because these guys are competitive athletes.
Mm-hmm.
We're not WWE.
I hear you.
I won't tone things down. I won't change things up to keep an audience happy. Normally, the fighting will do it, period. Okay. This is going to be interesting because I don't know what the list is they're building yet.
No, but you also do have to advance position in MMA. I think that's what Mike's kind of getting at. Is like, what is the equivalent of being like, hey, guys, you got to work or I'm going to break you up?
Oh, that's a 10 count. No aggressive, no aggressive or defensive moves for a 10 count.
Okay.
If Johnny and I are fighting and we clench and we just are sitting there hugging it out because it's 10 seconds into that third 2-minute round and we're a little tired trying to catch that rest, you're going to get reset.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I think they might have even lowered that to 5 seconds of inactivity in the most recent update, but I'll have to double check. But that might be the new thing.
I think BI's 5 IMCF is.
I mean, just for this event.
In a
right?
demolition
to look.
derby, you have to make contact every 1 minute,
or you're
or you
routed.
get disqualified, which I found out when I got stuck on a retaining wall on
Damn.
Labor Day weekend.
No one
I
would
was
come
like-
hit you.
No, people were hitting me.
That doesn't count.
I was no.
You're
I
fine.
was trying to shoulder myself in a SUV off of a retaining wall, and apparently I can't move a car, but I had a concussion, so I thought I could.
Damn, dude. Damn. So you learned the power of concrete, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Shoot.
There is something. I mean, I just want to, the Chris standing on top of his broken down SUV as fireworks exploded behind him might have been the most American picture I've ever taken in my life.
Yeah.
So
Damn
yeah,
straight.
Shout out Sheath Underwear for sponsoring me in that, so
Would you-
that I didn't have
Hell
to pay for
yeah.
it myself.
dude, that might be the combination now, right? Like, think about it like that. You combine a demolition derby with armored combat,
Mhm.
right? You have guys jousting.
This is some real Mad Max shit right
Hey,
here.
No joke. I've always said we could be the monster trucks of combat sports.
Okay.
Okay.
That is literally like my comparison that I make all the time. It's like, dude, yeah, we might not be the biggest, but people will still come see it.
Yeah.
And they'll still have fans, you know what I mean? And they'll still go crazy when some shit gets blown up.
People get hyped for Gravedigger to this day.
Oh yeah.
I'm in. All right, so for I just want to go back to the guys who are fighting this weekend. Emil, right? Like, what do you? What do you think is the number one thing you're looking out for, having been in there with him, and this being your first rematch?
I mean, he's slick. He's got good striking. He's got really good boxing. He's more of like a long rangey kind of boxer, kickboxer. So having no list or cage or anything to pressure him into, I definitely anticipate he's going to have some good lateral footwork, some good like backwards movement. And he knows that if he steps out, it's like the worst he's going to happen is he loses 1 point, right? Now, I think they might have a timidity, like you can't run out, but if he's circling and we're fighting and he just happens to step out, that's just 1 point, you know what I mean? So potentially he's got a good game plan there to like keep it long and range.
Oh, you're saying he can even like utilize the 1
Yeah,
point
it's
to
like
get a
fine.
better position.
Exactly. You know what I mean? If I'm about to catch him and we're pressuring and we just exchanged, he'll get like a long shot in, and then as I get there, if he lands one more and then gets out, that's 2 points, loses 1, so he's got 1 point, right?
Gotcha. So it's a net gain.
Yeah,
And a
potentially.
takedown is 2 points to Johnny in that scenario,
Okay.
plus everything he could score once he's down, which is
Exactly.
double and massive.
Yeah, my anticipation is that he's going to have a heavy striking game, and I don't know if he's going to use his wrestling defensively or offensively, but if he does, like I'm ready to grapple more, because our last fight, it was like I had such a game plan locked in that was working that I didn't do as much as I think I could have.
This is Emil here.
Yeah, we got Vladimir and Emil fighting. Maximenko's a good fighter out of Latvia, so this was a pretty high-level match between the two of them. This is here.
Where
actually.
is this?
This is in PWR. This is a Polish promotion.
Okay.
I wish my
Now, did
Polish
they have
was good
screen
enough.
doors on their armor?
Shame on
Bro.
it. I don't think so. But they could have. This is actually a common opponent of mine that he's fighting right now. He's fighting that's Emil right there, and the guy he just took down was fighting is Gronin de Futs, who is one of the French middleweight champions.
Okay.
This is a fight from way
He's got a
back.
really good back foot, Mike. See, French.
Yeah.
Yes.
Retreating.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's-
Emil showing the offensive wrestling there.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is he's not a bad
Ooh.
wrestler, but he also is one of the
Was
few
that a
guys,
shot to the neck or no?
That was borderline.
Okay.
So you see how the helmets have like a hella
Whoa.
left hook, great left hook there. So you see how the helmets have the chainmail or the cloth drape that comes down from them?
Yes.
So those are protective coverings that usually you're not allowed to aim for the neck, but usually if something gets there or the bottom of the helmet, that's kind of like going to be borderline because it's protected. If it's something slips through or slips underneath and hits like the neck directly, then you can get a little bit more.
But
like,
it also has to probably feel fairly egregious to the referee.
the referee usually, if you're hitting the neck a bunch, will give you a warning whether or not you hurt the guy because he should.
So
you
something
know.
like that, Roger, you're refereeing that. What do you give a warning there?
First one will be a warning.
Okay.
Second one, maybe another warning. It depends on what you have to look at. Was the attack intentional, or unintentional?
Yeah, is it just a
Because
bad
if
habit?
it comes in off your spalder, it kicks up underneath and makes contact with the neck. Technically, that's still a neck shot, but it was not intentional.
Okay.
That applies more to great back of the knee.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff can happen like when you're just moving, obviously. Just like, you can catch something that would have been legal and then someone moves in a certain way, it's illegal, right?
Yeah, well, because there's also, I mean, I imagine there's even less room for correcting your movement because you have the weight of the armor kind of pushing you.
Yeah, it's like if you see a guy has a clear habit of like, okay, he's hitting in the neck a lot, you know what I mean? Or he hits the groin a lot. Sometimes guys throw knees and they're just like, they have that horrible like targeting. Then at some point you got to tell the guy, hey, this may be your favorite weapon, but you got to just either not use it or fix it. Because, if he does it enough times, like you gave him 2-3 warnings, then you're like, all right, man, I'm going to take points now, you know, because at some point it's on you to fix your style. It's on you, right, to make sure you're following the rules.
I got you.
So that's like, it is a fine line, though, because sometimes it happens and the guy's not hurt and you're like, okay, I don't want to jump in and interrupt the fight.
There's something I want to get back to. We were talking about the kits before, and I noticed this when we've been to these events. The two different types of shields, like the long shield versus the small round shield, is that a speed versus – because the shield strikes count, correct?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so what do you prefer, the long –
I'm more of a buckler guy. Now, and man, I should have brought it. I actually could have had some of my gear with me.
oh, yeah, I could be hitting Mike with that stuff
Dude,
right now.
Exactly. You guys could be swinging.
Yeah, we're probably going to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, different sorts. Yeah.
I can't hit Mike with stuff? I would figure
you can't. Mike can hit you.
That's fine.
There we go. Yeah, I signed a waiver already. You ain't signed no waiver,
You're
bitch.
good then. Wait, don't hit him then.
I'm going to end up owning that studio.
No.
Make him sign the waiver after.
I didn't
dude.
think this through.
You guys ever see Foxy Boxing? Because that's what's going to happen now.
Okay.
Roger's in, dude.
Yeah.
He's in cahoots. He's like, all right, dude, let's shut this glass studio down.
Let's shut this glass studio down. Bring the furries in and have fun.
You guys, don't they say not mix fire and furries? I think there's something there. You got the swingers, the fire swingers already.
Dude, fire.
Know when to stop, Mike. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, dude, just keep building. Keep building. That's how they got to Burning Man.
That's true.
True, dude. Yeah.
Eventually.
Started with one dude just lighting something on fire.
Yeah. Just inviting people to his property.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, we're there in furry suits fighting in armor with our tails on fire.
That would be fun.
It would be, right? Dude, if you all right, so check it like this, right? You have a furry costume, but it has an extra long tail. At the start of the round, the tail gets lit on fire. You better win that fight before the tail gets up to you.
It's like a live action erotic Disney's Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Dude, by the time you get to the end, you won't be able to see anyways, too. All the flame in your eyes. You're just going to be lost out there. So.
Dude, honestly, the visuals pretty sick.
If someone needs like a music video or something, I'm already kind of. I think I might want to just film this for fun. So maybe we could do it and sell the footage or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I got to get in on that one. I mean, I got the kit at home.
All right, let's get back to this weekend's event. The one guy who did not give me your name as the person we thought he was going to be seeing in the finals or his toughest fight, Abid Mitchell, the reigning defending champion. He goes by Mando, correct?
Correct. And he chose him in the final round.
Did he?
Isn't that who he predicted?
No, he said Orion.
Okay. Okay. Could
I was shocked.
The Hunter?
No, Orion Goodman, who's also on this card. We're gonna pull up some of his highlights in a bit. But specifically, I just want to know, like what your thoughts are on Abid. Is this somebody who you have your eyes on as like, because that name didn't come up when it did actually. We spoke briefly on it, but that it was more about you had a score to settle with Sam that unfortunately. He's going to stay unsettled. Obviously, the rematch with Emil. And I feel like, just give me a couple minutes on Abid and if that matchup was to happen, what it means to you.
Yeah, simple answer is that he's definitely not someone I sleep on. I've been aware of him from his first few fights, seen him. I'm not sure if his first fight was at the Arnold Classic. Yeah, they pulled up him versus a guy I know really well, Kyle Olson.
Oh, snap.
So this gave me a good read on Abid because Kyle is someone that I train with quite a bit. He lives in Montana. He's captain of the team there, the Sun Eaters. And I get the chance to train with him a couple times a year. Actually just fought Kyle last weekend.
In Carolina?
Yes, in Carolina. We fought in the finals for the middleweight bracket. And so when I look at Abid, it's like I was talking to Chris about this. I can see his armor right now. I look, it's all stainless steel. I see it's a little bit oversized for him. I see the way he wields the shield and sword that are, they're early stages. They're rudimentary. He is fighting at a way that is athletic and aggressive, but not incredibly technically skilled yet. And so it's one of those people that I see a pretty good future for him, especially if he stays disciplined. And I'm sure he's gotten better from this fight. This is one of his older ones. But he's also the same kind of person that I look at, and I can see many holes in his game. And it's like the kinds of things that it's like, how do I put this? It's like you look at someone and sometimes you go like, okay, here's a real easy path to victory. And if I wanted to, I feel I could coast to a victory against him.
Okay.
And that means...
I mean, that is heavy shit talk.
Yeah, that's...
I mean it in the sense that
he's... stay in second gear
he's
and
not
beat him easily.
He's not a highly skilled swordsman. And so if it comes down to it, he has to get to me.
And you're saying there's no chance he out-athletics you?
No, it's not about that. It's about over the course of 3 rounds, can he stay consistent enough to outperform me? And I don't think he can. And I don't think that his explosive outbursts are enough to counteract my pretty set pace and discipline. So what I do anticipate is if he and I match up, that it will be a hard physical challenge. But I think tactically I have a pretty solid game plan to beat him.
You think you can pace him and get him to like kind of burn through his tank?
I think that his technical skill is not high enough yet to hang once we do. Like we both might get tired. So then it becomes, who's had a little bit more training locked in this specific format. And
I was reading about just yesterday, doping in cycling, and they were talking about all you have to do is oxygen deprive yourself temporarily, and you can kind of boost your gas tank. Now, me and Mike just bought a massive amount of Galaxy gas, when we were in Philadelphia, and I'm going to bring it to the event tomorrow.
Give it to
Do you
him,
want to huff some Galaxy gas with me and Mike before your fight?
No, I'm okay. I'm all right. No strange.
It's watermelon flavor.
No unknown
It's
stuff.
delicious.
And if I've never tried it, I don't even want to take pre-workout that I don't know
All right, fair enough.
before fights. I don't even take vitamins that I don't like before the fights or the day of. Yeah, so. Maybe after I'll see. Yeah, ask Abid, see if he wants it.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're trying to get him dosed up.
Hey, dude, you want some edibles?
Yeah, like exactly.
All right, so
But I just want to also be clear here that when I look at every single person that does this bracket or does the sport or is willing to step in the ring with myself or any competitor, I got to give them the baseline respect that they're willing to go out there and put their life on the line, and that is not something that you can take away or take lightly. And so I don't want it to come across as disrespectful, like in the sense that I think tactically I have a game plan that can beat him, but at the same time, if I step out there and that guy's channeling, Abid's got the spirit of like Muhammad Ali, Thor, and like all of the gods within him, like you can't take away the potential that he has the best day of his life and you have the worst, or someone's skill outstrips you in like a way I wasn't ready for. So I'll never approach a fight with like 100% certainty that I'm going to win. I just try to believe in myself enough that when I go out there, my instincts take over and my body's like, yeah, it's time to fucking do this.
So I teased this earlier. Sam Wride was supposed to be, on the roster of fighters. Instead, he's going to be sitting with me in the commentary booth because he suffered an ankle injury. I mean, I'm sure a lot of what had you excited to come out. Fighting in New York is incredible. Fighting the entire lineup of guys is it's great. But there has to be, like, you were very clearly most excited to settle the score with Sam. Are you just gonna follow this guy to the ends of the earth to finally fight him, or what's
I gotta
up?
go to Australia now, I guess. Yeah, that's the only answer. I mean, maybe so. It's
the brawl beyond the wall.
Hey, babe, the rumble down under.
I like it.
I mean, it's funny because in a way, I need to fight him at some point, probably before I go visit him. Because once I like train with someone and have like a friendly relationship, it changes the vibe, right?
Yeah,
You're
it
not
makes
gonna-
you a little less competitive.
Like, okay, maybe we don't need to fight. And it's like, I don't want him to be the one that got away, you know?
Yeah, dude, you don't want to get suckered in like Bill Russell did to Will Chamberlain all this.
Yeah,
years.
like all of a sudden I'm like, I don't want to fight Sam.
That's
Now
my
he's
boy.
buddy. Like there is a guy like that in the U.S. Like a few years ago, we were like, oh, we're gonna fight, and then we like fought together on the same melee team for a while, and we cornered each other, and now we're like, it's not worth it, man. It's
No,
not-
you just gotta go into a basement somewhere and do the end of Rocky.
Exactly,
3. Just
dude.
No judges.
no camera, just
Ding,
us,
ding.
man. And those are the best kinds of fights for sure, for sure.
Do you guys really do that? Like you guys
Sometimes.
will just say, "Hey, you want to settle this?" and throw on the armor.
It's usually less about like, do you want to settle this? More of like, you know, there's only so many people that you can really
Like get good training.
go
with.
out with. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It's like, dude, when you get that guy who just like rises and meets the wave that you bring, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. And you don't want to like train with other people either, because it's like you're gonna detract from this awesome pure thing, and it's really special. I miss that sort of stuff. I don't have very many training partners like that left in Seattle. A lot of them moved away. So that's part of why like I'm excited to come here, because it's like the chance to cross paths, you know, with guys like Emil. You know, I don't know him as well, but Abid, I'm sure, is super genuine. And then, yeah, Sam, who I'll now have to wait to see, like, again. But I do, yeah, get super motivated to fight the people that I respect. And I respect the heck out of Sam, you know, so there's no hate for sure.
Very cool guy. All right, so the other 4 guys up: Ronan Sato, Isaac Ellis, Orion Goodman, and Jake Maddaw. Of those 4 names, who do you think is the you know, like which one is the dark horse of that group to possibly show up on the opposite side of you in the finals?
I think I got to give it to Ronan.
Yeah?
It'd be maybe him or Isaac. You know, they got similar vibes, the two of them.
Can we see a little bit of Ronan and Isaac?
Yeah, Ronan is one of those guys where he's like super tall and lanky.
Okay.
So you kind of first have to just deal with the fact that he does outreach pretty much all of us. He's
Okay.
like 6'3" or something. You know, there
Is
he
this Ronan here?
Yeah, it's Ronan in the
So
black.
he's not only he's not lanky. That's a big boy.
Yeah.
That guy's wide.
long.
Oh yeah.
He looks bigger in armor. You can see him out
Looks
of
like
it.
a damn linebacker.
Dude, he's surprisingly thin. I'm gonna tell you that much. You know, he's
Really?
surprisingly thin for how
a
tall
lot of
he is.
overhead shots with him.
Yeah, exactly. He swings downward with most everything.
Right.
You'll see that. In
Right,
his
that
fights.
makes sense for a taller guy.
Yeah, and this is him against Taylor Jones, who is a shorter, burlier, a little bit heavier guy. I think this was a fight at 205.
Yeah, but I mean, like Jake Maddaw, I saw him in person here. He can't be more than like, 150 pounds soaking wet. So I mean, that's nuts.
Yeah, this tournament's got some spread of weight classes for sure, because Ronan's a light heavyweight, maybe a middleweight at his lowest.
right. You can cut to middleweight maybe.
I doubt he normally does, but he is one of those guys where he has kind of that. Hey, you see, he's not a great grappler. He's got kind of an awkward style to him. But
Oh yeah, look, he just ended up in bottom position.
yeah, he
here.
grinds is Ronan's thing, where he rarely gives up in a fight. And I don't know if I've ever seen him actually like fully give up. Sometimes he gets so tired that he's like gassed, he's done ski, and he's like just barely able to fight. But he will keep coming at you as long as he's got energy. Not the most technical guy with his striking. He's not the most like highly skilled in any one particular area, but he's pretty good at a lot of different things.
Okay.
You know, he's the kind of person that when I look at them, I'm like, I'm going to wrestle that guy.
But there's also, yeah, I mean, there's always guys in any sport, particularly a 1v1 sport, where like there's a heart factor and just like a just a like, I don't care that you're better than me at this.
I want to win.
At the very least, I'm gonna make sure you don't feel good tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's one of those things where I don't necessarily know if he's got the how do I say it? It's like some people have like that like energy to like, I want to beat you and inflict, and I think Ronan also is more on the like he does not want to lose, which is there's like a delicate kind of balance there, I suppose, or maybe like a thin line between. It's just the way he fights. When he thinks he's down, he fights harder, and when he's up, he fights like more defensive. You know, but when it's close, he goes all out, which is like, you got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, that's what you really want in an opponent.
Yeah,
just
like
in
that guy
general.
should know that he's got to compete right at all times. And I was gonna say, if they can't find Isaac Ellis, you can look him up as Night Nurse, the KNIGHT.
That's who I was thinking of. Night
that's
Nurse.
yeah, that's his
Not
handle.
LA Knight.
Yeah,
I was thinking of Night Nurse.
LA Knights is the that's the
the
team
wrestler.
Ronan's on. Actually,
really?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
there's the LA Knight of wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Well, the LA Golden Knights are the LA team. So,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm.
Sick.
hand in hand.
Um,
Yeah, Ronan's a good scrapper. You know, he's won a couple of like tournaments that it's kind of funny. Like I look at it afterwards, I'm like, I don't know how he won that. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes I look at I'm like genuinely. Like we were talking about picks, there was one fight I was watching where
Like when you look at the bracket and you know
like
that he won.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
And then there was one particular fight he had, a pro fight, where he completely gutted it out. It was super close going into the third round. I was scoring it for the other guy. Like, I thought the other guy was winning by 2 rounds. But then after the third round, Ronan dominated. They were really close, and then Ronan just dominated the third round, completely gassed the other dude out. And that was one of those fights where I definitely gained or kind of like elevated him in my eyes.
Gotcha.
Because even if it's not like a skill thing, just knowing that like, hey, it's all down to this freaking round. Like,
By the way, how do all these guys end up in this sport and they have names like Orion and Ronan?
dude, I don't know. I think these
Katanas
guys,
in it. It's
they
all the
renamed
American
themselves,
gladiators
dude.
if it was their real names.
They renamed themselves. I'm pretty sure, man.
Oh, okay.
Reminds me of being in college. I met this girl named Phoenix, and after class, I'm like, that's such a cool name. She's like, yeah, you can just choose
Make
your
your
own.
dick rise from the ashes.
No, she's like, you can just choose your own name. And I'm like, that's not cool. If your parents named you Phoenix, it's cool. But if you went and did it yourself, it's not cool, man. I'm
You're
sorry.
not a stripper, lady.
Yeah,
Dude.
there you go. That's me on it.
my daughter's gonna do the opposite. She's gonna be like, "Yeah, my name's Kate. Fuck all this other
His
shit."
daughter's name is Aura Jane. He thought that was a good
man.
idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't realize Aura was gonna be a meme.
No.
So
Yeah, no, I did. No, actually, I didn't until I went to a UFC card in Atlantic City, and Chris Weidman was coming out, and I'm like hyped. I'm super on the edge of my seat. I'm standing next to a 12-year-old kid who like
I'm Chris, and he's a wide man.
Solid.
new name.
Chris and the Wide Man.
Yeah, that's the new name of the podcast.
We might have to. But I'm sitting next to this 12-year-old kid. He has no memories of Chris Weidman, like when he was Chris Weidman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's like, he just looks at me. I'm like, I'm excited as hell. Tom Petty's playing. He's coming out with the American flag. Woo! Dude, like getting so into it. And this little 12-year-old's looking at me. He's like, he's got no aura. There's nothing there. Like he's
Brutal.
not. And I was like, oh, okay. They'd hurt.
It turns out
because-
your aura's in your femur.
Oh, dude. No, it's for Weidman. It might be in his fingertips now. Dude.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, and then okay, so we got a little bit of Night Nurse here.
Oh, this is a classic. He used to just love doing the throw down and let's just box it out.
Just put down the weapons and go
Yeah.
bomb bomb.
Yeah.
Oh, so Sam was telling me you need to keep your hand. Oh, I guess in melee you don't, but in pro fights you have to keep a hand on a weapon.
In all of them you do. This was a like exhibition thing.
Okay.
They were just going at it.
Like the ref knew this was coming.
Yeah, this was like at a Ren Fair in California, if I'm not mistaken. Where they get invited. The Boher guys get invited to be.
Yo, that's Night Nurse.
That's not Night Nurse. That bigger guy is a guy named Dylan Sweeney.
Okay,
Dylan Sweeney's a savage.
is that Night? Which one's Night Nurse?
Dude, you'll see him. He's the one running right now.
Oh,
You
okay.
just check those guys in the white right there.
Okay, I got you. Okay, nice block. Ooh.
He's another one of those guys who's like a total scrapper. Is how I like to talk. He was I think he was a combat medic, and now he's an ER nurse.
Okay.
And so he's not got a whole lot of combat sports experience. I was just talking to him last week, and I should have got some more info on him because he was asking me like what sports I did, and I was like completely forgot to ask him the sports he did. But from my experience with him and watching him, he's got that classic like dude who kind of knows how to fight better than the average dude because he's been in fights.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Not necessarily like had a lot of training, but it's like if you knew a guy growing up that got into fights every weekend, you're like, he's probably going to win most fights against people who aren't actually trained.
Yeah.
And that's how I think of Isaac. Like he's got that scrap dog energy in him, you know what I mean? But also not the most technical. He's got more of a just like hit, try to grab you and just throw you down with brute force sort of style to him. Matter of fact, I don't know if it'll happen. I was hoping, and I'm kind of excited if he and Ronan get matched up because I think their styles are going to be like a real like a rock paper scissors match between them. You know, whether Ronan's like tall, lanky evasiveness will win out versus Isaac just complete dog in him coming at him. You know, so
Just two scrappy dudes.
yeah, literally, yeah, but
Okay.
just like completely different body types though. You know, and slightly different styles.
Oh man, when are they pulling the names for this bracket,
Dude,
Roger?
sometime.
I wanna know who's fighting so bad right now.
Probably as soon as you sit at your desk, you'll have a fight card.
Yeah. Okay. Sick. I like that.
Seems like he's just not telling us what the fight card is, but he everybody knows.
Dude, he might.
You're telling me there's a desk?
They might already pull. That's a desk.
Ooh,
Yeah, hide behind that.
It's already nicer than his house.
you know, I got you a tabletop list this year for October.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of just a little rail, so
Nice.
you'll have something to lean on,
Okay.
like a desk.
I appreciate that.
Put your mic there
What?
on the table, on the list.
Just leave it. Just let it hang out over there.
Just let it hang out over there. Just lay up, get up and lay on the list on the table and take a nap.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. That was super fun getting to the event and being like, okay, these are the list of like I had the notes that Brandon sent me and it was all like jumbled up and everything, and I'm like, all right, I know one of these guys fought in Bellator, so I'm just going with that. We're just gonna roll with the Bellator guy until he gets eliminated. Then we'll figure out fun facts for everybody else.
Yeah, we'll go next.
Yeah. Oh man, so much fun! I'm so excited. Tomorrow night I deal glass. 7.
Well, it'll be
6
tonight as this comes out
tonight.
This comes out on Friday.
I'm gonna put it out early too.
You don't have to lie to the people. It's the end of the show.
No. They know.
Don't
that
lie
they're-
to them either.
They know.
Friday.
Roger's
7th.
getting you regular paid work, and you're lying to him to his face
I'll tell you right now.
in front of a green screen God and everyone.
Damn.
By the way, the guy over my shoulder in this shot is the first person I 86'd from the bar. You picked the funniest possible green screen photo. I 86'd that guy. He was the first person I threw out of this bar.
Damn, dude. Way to break the illusion to all the people watching, man.
Yeah,
we're not actually in a bar.
We're
Dude.
Live and
Yeah.
spectators, dog.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be absolutely incredible. I know that the people, either they're not at home, they're actually driving on their way into work. I got this episode out so quickly. So
But yeah, if you're in the New York area, make sure you come. These are always a fun time. And if this is going to be your first experience to something like this, I think I'm going to throw this out there, Mike. I'll be there hanging out with you. Same rules apply as if I'm on the road. If you come up and say Notes of a Goon to me, I will hand you $20 to the first person who says that. to me.
Wait, say what again? What was that?
No. It doesn't count if you've been on the show or you have to be at the event anyway. If you are a ticket-holding patron of the event,
Ooh, who do I know? And how many times can they do this?
just once.
per person.
The first person.
20 per
Just the
20
first
bucks
person.
per person.
Just the first person.
Chris is gonna see me in 20 different outfits tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to see all Roger's furry costumes.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay more than 20 for that. Sorry.
No, dude. I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. Okay.
I don't think we're getting better than that, Mike. So I think this is where we're going to wrap this up. Where can anybody listening find you guys on any sort of social media or anything else you have to plug?
Oh man, you can look me up, Johny Porter, aka Johnny Angel, on some social media on Instagram. But also look up my team, the Vagabonds of Seattle. If you're ever in the Pacific Northwest area, looking to do some bow hurt or train in armored combat, check me out there.
And your YouTube page, you're breaking down a lot of these fights. So if
Yeah.
people want to learn the finer points of the sport, that's a great place to start.
Yeah, Johnny Porter or Johnny Bowhurt maybe on YouTube. I got too many of these, man. I need someone to help me
It's
keep track.
Bohart. I looked it up.
Yeah, Johnny Bowhurt on YouTube. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
And you can find us at Armored AF on any of the medias or Diamond State Steel Academy.
Great. Harrington, when's the next anxiety attack?
Next anxiety attack is February 20th. You want to do it?
Sure.
Sick. All right, we got one comic booked.
All right. It's fantastic. So, and, follow me at Chris from BKLYN, Twitter and Instagram. And if you haven't checked it out yet, go check out me and Chris Stanley on Dad Meet from last week. Very fun show. This has been Notes of a Goon. I'm your host, Chris Vega, joined as always by my stalwart producer, Michael Harrington. Have a good night, folks.